What's up, fam? Welcome back to the channel. Whether you've been rocking with us or it's your first time here, we're glad you pulled up. Smash that like button and join the squad. So here's the tea.
U.S. fighter jets are getting shot down over Yemen, and an American aircraft carrier had to bounce after running out of ammo thanks to constant Houthi attacks. The White House bodyguard, aka Saudi Air Defenses, intercepted a missile fired from Yemen toward Tel Aviv. Meanwhile, America's bunker-busting bombs, designed to take out fortified targets, flopped hard against the Houthis' underground networks. Washington's like, yeah, we've stepped up our attacks in Yemen, but we ain't got a magic fix. Across the pond, the UK shut down flights to Tel Aviv because of threats from Sana'a, the Palestinian resistance. They said nah to Israel's ceasefire proposal.
Over in Cairo, Egypt's throwing shade too, warning they might burn the peace treaty with Tel Aviv if Israeli soldiers keep pushing the limits at the border. Syria's on fire again, literally, and Israel's snagging more land there, tossing warnings at Turkey. Turkey clapped back with a tough statement in response to the Hebrew press. The US and Israel are making moves, and Iran's on edge. Russia's like, you'll better not mess with our allies, promising consequences if things escalate. Meanwhile, the Trump pandemic is trending harder than COVID, and European stocks are bleeding red.
In the Red Sea, straight chaos. The Houthis are lighting things up. America's tried and failed to stop their attacks. After the Houthis shot down a US MQ series drone with a homegrown surface-to-air missile, making it the 7th one downed since this started, things got heated. They even claimed they targeted the USS Harry S. Truman and its warship buddies in the Red Sea for a full 12 hours. Local sources say another American drone launched from a U.S. warship hit a civilian vehicle in Yemen's Sada province, near the Saudi border. Luckily, no one was hurt. The vehicle was empty just before the strike. That drone tried to head back toward its carrier via Hodeidah but didn't make it. Houthi forces took it down too, Reuters confirmed. Now here's where it gets wild.
Israeli media reported that U.S. air defenses intercepted a Houthi ballistic missile aimed at Tel Aviv. The Hebrew Broadcasting Authority said the missile was shot down before hitting the city and crashed in Saudi Arabia. Israeli Channel 2 even thanked the Saudis and U.S. bases in the kingdom for saving them from the Yemen-launched missile. On the American side, former President Trump said his administration will stop the Houthis from hitting ships. He said, and I quote, "They love shooting at ships, sinking ships. But they don't love it now, do they, Mr. Secretary of Defense?" Earlier reports said US and Israeli ships are now avoiding the Red Sea completely, rerouting all the way around the Cape of Good Hope.
Back to Yemen. According to the Wall Street Journal, America's advanced GBU-57 bunker busters, designed to pierce deep underground, failed to wipe out the Houthis' tunnel networks. Yeah, even though those bombs can rip through 60 meters of dirt and 19 meters of reinforced concrete, they didn't destroy the underground infrastructure. The strikes blew up some tunnel entrances, but the Houthis just rebuilt them fast and kept things moving underground. They're proving they can adapt quickly. The Economist added that the U.S. has ramped up airstrikes but still lacks a solid plan to end the conflict. The MAG says boots on the ground might be next, something Saudi Arabia is low-key rooting for, especially after failing to take out the Houthis years ago when they were way less equipped. They also noted that shipping through the Bab al-Mandab Strait has dropped by half compared to early 2023, ever since the Gaza ceasefire collapsed. Ship owners are getting nervous about that route, and it doesn't look like the Houthis will pause their strikes anytime soon, even under heavy fire from the US and Israel.
On another front, the UK Foreign Office warned its citizens not to travel to Tel Aviv due to potential missile and drone attacks from Yemen. They added that falling debris could still be a problem, and flights at Ben Gurion Airport might get disrupted if the threats continue. That's the rundown, squad. Things are spiraling fast out there. Red Sea heat, missiles flying, regional alliances shifting, and nobody's got a clear off-ramp. Stay tuned and stay sharp.
So things are getting heated with the Israeli military, especially after Prime Minister Netanyahu dropped some heavy comments about launching ground ops in Gaza and moving on that Philly corridor. Meanwhile, a high-ranking source from the Palestinian resistance, told CNN they rejected the latest Israeli offer for a 40-day ceasefire. The deal was supposed to include the release of 11 hostages and the remains of half the deceased captives. This came after the resistance agreed to a prior Egypt-Israel deal to release 5 captives, including American-Israeli Eden Alexander, in return for extending the truce. But then Israel came back with this counteroffer and boom, rejected. Israel's Foreign Minister Gideon Saar came out saying Tel Aviv is ready to end the war right now, but only if all hostages are released and the resistance dips out of Gaza completely. He also said they need to make sure Lebanese factions don't rearm and called for voluntary migration of Gaza residents. Yeah, that's a loaded phrase. Over in Cairo, things are getting tense. International law expert Mohammed Mahmoud Mehran clapped back at Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz, who accused Egypt of violating the peace treaty by boosting its military presence in Sinai. Mehran, on RT, Russia Today, said Israel's the one breaking the deal by digging tunnels and beefing up its presence in the Philly corridor near Egypt's border, calling it a threat to Egyptian national security. He added that the peace treaty says both sides gotta respect each other's sovereignty and recognize Palestinian rights, meaning Egypt has every legal right to object to what Israel's doing. And yeah, under international law, Egypt could suspend the treaty if Israel keeps violating it.
Flash over to Syria. Israeli airstrikes hit the harsh al-Jubaili area near Nawa and Daraa, killing 9 and injuring 22, according to the local health authority. The Israeli army also dropped flyers over the village of Kuwaya telling people not to use the road to al-Sharia. And yeah, they've been on a mission, claiming they neutralized a bunch of fighters in southern Syria with ground and airstrikes. The Israeli army's spokesman said their 474th Brigade seized weapons and blew up infrastructure in Tassel. They're making it clear they won't let any military threat build up near them. Israeli Defense Minister Katz met with top brass to talk about Turkey's moves in Syria, especially after 2 airbases Ankara was planning to turn into hubs, got flattened. Qatar's foreign ministry called on the world to pressure Israel to back off Syria and follow international law. Katz fired off a warning to Syrian President Ahmed al-Shara, saying any threat coming out of Syria is going to be met with fire. If Syria lets Israel's enemies in, Katz said, you're going to pay a heavy price. He also confirmed Israel's military will stay deployed on Mount Hermon, in buffer zones, and near the Golan Heights to protect settlements. And yeah, those recent airstrikes on airfields in Palmyra, T4, and around Damascus? That was Israel saying, don't even think about messing with our security. Inside sources said the strikes were also aimed at blocking Turkey from gaining military control in the region by taking out the last of the Syrian military assets in Hama, T4, and other bases. Runways got trashed, radar systems fried, warplanes wrecked, and ammo depots blown sky high. Turkey ain't having it. Turkey clapped back hard, calling on Israel to ditch its expansionist mindset and get off occupied land. Ankara said the strikes on Syria, when there was no provocation, only add fuel to the fire and mess with efforts to stabilize the region.
US and Israel eyeing Iran? And now it's getting real spicy. According to the Daily Mail, US and Israeli officials are cooking up a major military strike on Iran, possibly hitting its nuclear facilities in the coming weeks. Russia's already warning, if you'll use military force on Iran, that's illegal and reckless. They said bombing Iran's nuclear infrastructure could cause global disaster.
Back in the States, the economy took a straight-up nosedive. U.S. markets lost over $3 trillion in value thanks to the fallout from the trade war. Worse than COVID, some say. Media's dubbing it the Trump pandemic, an economic and political shockwave that rattled investor confidence and left Wall Street in shambles.
That's all for now, folks. Thanks so much for watching. Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you stay in the loop. At X News, we keep it real, raw, and fair. See y'all in the next one. Stay safe out there.